KHOU 11 News at 6 starts now.
Distribution of Moderna vaccine has already begun.
The second approved COVID vaccine is on its way. Shipments are being prepared right now for the rollout tomorrow. Moderna and Pfizer's vaccines. How are they similar? How are they different? We break it down. But we begin with the weather. It's been a day of heavy rain as another cold front moved through the Houston area. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ron Trevino. Welcome to our webcast. The rain is moving on. We're drying out. Let's get right to Blake Matthews for what we can expect for the rest of the weekend. Hey, Blake.
Hey, Ron, I think we are done with the heavy weather now for the rest of the next couple of days. Our next best chance of rain actually comes on Wednesday. That's going to usher in a very Christmassy feel to the air just in time for the big man himself and the reindeer. All right, let's take a look at the radar. Over the past couple of hours, you'll notice most of the rain has pushed well to the east into southwest Louisiana. The skies actually here at Casa de Loco have begun to break just a little bit, making for a pretty sunset, although now looking outside, it is pretty dark out there. Okay, here's a look at the last 12 hours, and you can see how the squall line really came together, even prompting a flash flood advisory for some portions of Harris County. Many areas picking up 1 to 3 inches of rain. In fact, here is a look at some of those rainfall totals. You could see 2.6, 2.3, even 3.5 inches there, pretty close to Sugar Land. So we got a pretty healthy dose of water, and it looks like we're done now for the next couple of days before, again, our next big front coming in on Wednesday. Temperatures right now, you'll notice the temperature's not a lot cooler behind this front, only 50s to right around 60 degrees, and I really don't think we're going to cool down a whole lot. This is more of a Pacific type cold front versus an Arctic cold front, so that's why we're not really seeing a big temperature drop behind it. Winds are coming in from the north, 3, 5, 6, 7 miles per hour, and you'll notice that as we head into the overnight hours, by tomorrow morning, we're down to about 51, 52, 53 degrees. And then we warm up tomorrow, I think, back into those lower 60s. So tomorrow will be a slightly cooler day than what we saw for today. But again, looking across the state as that front has pushed through, you'll notice the temperatures are not really all that chilly at all, especially considering we are at the tail end of December. So there's that front draped across the Ohio and Tennessee valleys, stretching all the way down into Louisiana. Right now, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans going to be getting in on that heavy rain. But there's really not a whole lot going on behind this front. Temperatures, again, not that impressive for this time of year. We're talking 40s. Some 30s out there towards Denver, 52 in Dallas, 27 in Omaha. But as we take a look to the north of the border, look at that, 20 below zero right now in Bettles, Alaska, 24 below zero right now in Yellowknife, 35 below zero in Old Crow. Temperatures are very cold there, but it's in the wrong spot to get to Texas. This is centered more in an area of Canada that it favors the southeast United States. So I think the vast majority of that cold air that will break loose for Christmas will miss us to the east, but I do think it will get close enough to give us a nice cool down as we get into the Christmas holiday. So if you're looking for some cooler weather, I've got good news for you, but it won't be bitter cold, and I think that's also good news for a lot of you. Taking a look at the future track, there goes the front. Things should clear out nicely behind the front. Tomorrow is shaping up to be a partly cloudy day for the most part, clearing out heading into Sunday night. But then we will be monitoring our next system that'll be pushing into the state as we get into Wednesday. So here's how it all plays out. We're looking at 66 degrees, and that's probably a bit warm, I think, for tomorrow. We could probably lower that down a few degrees, and I probably will for 10 o'clock tonight. We're in the mid to upper 60s heading into Monday and Tuesday. We've got a 40% chance of showers as we get into your Wednesday. Christmas Eve looking pretty chilly with a high temperature of only 54 degrees with a morning start there in the 30s. And I do think that many of us will be pretty close to freezing, I think, as we get into Friday morning, Christmas morning, with a high temperature there in the mid 50s. And then we are into the 60s as we get into Saturday. So kind of a quick one-hit wonder there as we get into Thursday and Friday. But Ron, if you ask me, the strong cold front could not have been timed out any better because, of course, you know, in 2015 and 2016, we had high temperatures in the 80s. This year, we're going to have high temperatures in the 50s. And I think Santa and his reindeer will feel a little bit more at home with that big red coat. What do you think?
I'm still dreaming of a white Christmas. That's me. I'm a dreamer. All right. Thank you so much, Blake. Hey, remember, you can track the weather in your neighborhood with live radars on the KHOU app. Download it now for free. Authorities are investigating a scare involving a small plane at West Houston Airport. The aircraft skidded off a runway during the rain early this afternoon. It's unclear how many people were on board at the time, but fortunately no one was injured. Now for our best shot at finally getting this pandemic under control. The Army General in charge of getting vaccines across the country says distribution of Moderna's vaccine has started. According to General Gustav Perna, the vaccine just approved yesterday has been moved from manufacturing sites to distribution centers where boxes are being packed and loaded right now.
Trucks will begin rolling out tomorrow from FedEx and UPS, delivering vaccines and kits to the American people across the United States. We have begun shipping ancillary kits, including needles, syringes, other supplies that are required to give the shots.
Perna also apologized for what he calls miscommunication with states over the number of doses of the Pfizer vaccine to be delivered. Governors in more than a dozen states have reported that next week's shipment will be less than originally projected. The general said he mistakenly cited numbers of doses that he believed would be ready. Many of you have questions now that Moderna's vaccine is on the way. Chris Costa talked with an infectious disease doctor about the most common questions.
There are now 2 vaccines, one from Pfizer, the other from Moderna, both approved by the FDA for emergency use.
Get whichever vaccine you can. They are both equally effective.
Infectious disease specialists say Pfizer's is approved for people ages 16 and up. Moderna's is for 18 and up. But why can Moderna's last for 30 days in a normal refrigerator compared to Pfizer's, which needs ultra-cold freezers? It has to do with the fats each company used to support the mRNA in the vaccine. Doctors say Moderna's are more stable.
Is really good news for more rural areas of the country.
One big question, are COVID-19 vaccines like the flu shot? Will we need to get a different one every year?
Very good question. We don't know. We don't know how long immunity lasts because the virus hasn't been around long enough. We are not sure with the coronavirus how quickly it's going to mutate and if that will make a difference in our immune response.
Doctors expect 2 more vaccines to be approved by the end of January. Will those be effective too?
We think that these vaccines will also prove to be safe and effective because they are targeting the same part of the virus, that spike that you see in all the pictures of the virus.
Doctors warn that widespread access to the vaccine is still many months away.
Light at the end of the tunnel, but it's a long tunnel.
In Houston, Chris Costa, KHOU 11 News.
Now, if you have any questions about the vaccines, send us a text to 713-526-1111. We'll send links to the latest information. You can also just text the word vaccine to that very same number. Negotiations continue at this hour on an emergency pandemic relief package that would include a new round of stimulus checks. Lawmakers remain at odds over a Republican provision that would prohibit the Federal Reserve from restarting its pandemic lending programs. Democrats say the ban would hamstring the economic recovery. Congressional leaders have given themselves until Sunday at midnight to close out the talks. Police have released new information on a family tragedy in Sugar Land. A couple found dead in their home on Brookstone yesterday have been identified as Benjamin and Teresa Okigbo. Police say Benjamin strangled his wife to death before hanging himself. They say he also tried to strangle his 2 sons. Fortunately, the young men survived the attack. A suspected intoxicated driver is in custody after crashing into 3 police cars in Montgomery County. It happened early this morning on the North Freeway near Woodlands Parkway. The DPS says officers from Oak Ridge North and Shenandoah were working another accident when the suspect's car slammed into theirs. Fortunately, no one was hurt. A somber tradition observed in Katy today and across the country. Holiday wreaths were laid on the graves of fallen service members at Katy Magnolia Cemetery. Wreaths Across America is a national campaign to remember fallen heroes. We spoke with the widow of a Vietnam vet who passed away in March at the start of the pandemic.
Like for a lot of families, it's been rough. But, you know, there's always hope.
Mrs. Schulenberger says her thoughts today are also with our first responders, healthcare workers, and teachers who've been on the front lines in the war against COVID. Houston's NAACP trying to make Christmas merrier for thousands of children, and they got some help today from a hip-hop legend. 50 Cent was in the house as the civil rights organization handed out the gifts collected during its annual holiday toy drive. In fact, 50 donated several pallets worth of items to the effort. Today he showed up with dozens of other volunteers to help make people smile in this tough time. A parking garage near the Toyota Center turned into Santa's workshop. Thousands of gifts were handed out as part of the annual Toys for Kids Christmas giveaway. This annual event is sponsored by the World Youth Foundation and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. She and Mayor Sylvester Turner were on hand to give out the toys. The pandemic has more families in need this year, and with Christmas less than a week away, from toy drives to free meals, there's still a lot of help out there. Here's Michelle Choi.
Buenos días, ¿cómo están? Bendiciones. Por favor, sus tickets.
It was a busy start here at the parking lot of Iglesia Emmanuel Katy Church this morning. More than 1,000 toys were given away to boys and girls drive-through style. Their families grateful for the help this Christmas holiday.
During this time, we were having issues, so it's a big joy for us to get something for our kids.
Hello, Merry Christmas. How are you?
The event held by the Good Neighbor Connection and their team of community sponsors, including Harris County Constable Precinct 5.
We wanted to just go the extra mile for those families who don't have the financials to buy the toys.
It's absolutely rewarding to see the smiles on their faces, the eyes lit up.
2020 has been a tough year for so many families. If you still need help this Christmas, here are a few other events coming up. Harris County Precinct 1 Constable Alan Rosen is holding a drive-through toy giveaway at NRG Center this Tuesday starting at noon. It's for children 3 to 11 years old. Anyone is welcome and toys will be given out as long as supplies last. Your children must be present. If you want to surprise the kiddos with a toy on Christmas Day, local outreach groups Sweet Science Boxing Academy and Team Thumb Foundation are holding a holiday toy giveaway on Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. at the Sweet Science Boxing Academy in Northwest Houston. Toys will be given out for free to children 11 and under. Be sure to bring them to receive it. If you're in need of a warm holiday meal, nonprofit Lucille's 1913 and its sponsors have teamed up to give out 5,000 of them to families living in Houston's 3rd Ward on Wednesday. The drive-thru event will be held at Emancipation Park from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Attendees must RSVP online to reserve a family meal package. Houston's very own 4-time Olympic gold champion gymnast Simone Biles will be there to help distribute the meals. $1,000 HEB gift cards will be handed out as well. Standing for Houston, Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
We'll have the details about all those giveaways posted here at KHOU.com. Well, that's going to do it for us for now. For all the good folks here at KHOU, I'm Ron Trevino. Our late news tonight starts around 10:30. We'll see you then on TV.